Hello friends, my name is Ryan, and I'm going to tell you a story named The Girl Who Fought for Climate Change, Greta Thunberg's Global Impact, which is an amazing story full of twists. So, let's start. It all began in a small town in Sweden, where a young girl named Greta Thunberg lived. At first glance, Greta seemed like an ordinary teenager. But there was something special about her, a fire inside that burned with an intense passion for saving the planet. She was only 15, but Greta understood the gravity of the climate crisis in a way that most adults couldn't. One cold winter morning, Greta decided to skip school. Instead of going to class, she went to the Swedish parliament with a simple sign, "Skolstrejk för klimatet, Skolstrike for climate." She sat there alone, hoping that someone would take notice of her message. The world, however, was too busy with its daily grind to pay attention to a young girl who had no formal political power or influence. But Greta wasn't disheartened. Each Friday, she returned to the steps of the Swedish parliament, sitting quietly with her sign, determined to make the world listen. Little did she know, her quiet protests were about to cause a worldwide stir. Days turned into weeks, and soon, her small act of defiance began to capture the attention of the media. People across Sweden began to take notice of this young girl, fighting for the future of the planet. And then, something incredible happened. Greta's message spread like wildfire across the globe. Soon, young people from all corners of the world were inspired by Greta's courage and passion. They joined her movement, creating their own school strikes and demanding action from their governments to address climate change. Greta's simple act of rebellion had sparked a global revolution, a call for climate justice that could no longer be ignored. But as the movement grew, so did the obstacles Greta faced. Powerful leaders, corporate giants, and even some members of the media began to target her. They mocked her, belittled her, and tried to discredit her every move. But Greta remained unwavering. She didn't back down. She knew the future of the planet depended on the fight she had taken up. As Greta continued her journey, she traveled to major international forums, addressing heads of state, powerful business leaders, and climate experts. Her speeches were blunt, powerful, and left audiences speechless. She spoke truth to power in a way that no one had dared to before. But despite the accolades and attention, there was always a looming sense of danger. The climate crisis was real, and the urgency of the situation was only becoming more apparent. Then, one fateful day, Greta was invited to speak at the United Nations Climate Change Summit in New York. Her speech was powerful, emotional, and full of raw truth. She told the world's leaders that they had failed to act, that they had ignored the warning signs for far too long, and that it was time for the next generation to rise up and take control of their future. But just as it seemed like the world might finally listen, a twist came. A massive storm, the likes of which had never been seen before, struck the heart of Europe. Cities flooded, wildfires raged, and the devastation was beyond imagination. Greta's worst fears had come to life. The climate was changing at an alarming rate, and the consequences were already here. In the aftermath of the storm, the world's leaders were forced to confront the reality of what Greta had been warning about all along. They could no longer ignore the science or the youth that had risen up to demand change. Greta's movement had gained such momentum that it could not be stopped. But as the world began to shift its focus to climate action, Greta's journey took another unexpected turn. Behind the scenes, a powerful group of corporate leaders who had long profited from the exploitation of the environment were plotting to undermine Greta's movement. They feared the changes she was advocating would disrupt their profits and hold them accountable for the damage they had caused to the planet. And so, a shadowy network of influential figures began to work against Greta. They funded campaigns to discredit her, they spread misinformation, and they even attempted to sabotage her public appearances. But Greta's resilience never wavered. She fought back, rallying her supporters and exposing the powerful forces working against her. As the battle between corporate interests and climate activists intensified, a new and even darker twist emerged. Greta discovered that her fight was more than just about saving the planet, it was about uncovering a conspiracy that ran deep into the corridors of power. The more she uncovered, the more dangerous her mission became. She was forced to go underground, seeking out allies who could help her expose the truth. But with every step she took, the stakes grew higher. The world was watching, and the battle for the future of the planet had reached its climax. In the end, Greta's fight became a symbol of hope, a symbol that even the smallest voice could stand up against the most powerful forces in the world. She had sparked a global movement that could never be silenced, and though the challenges were great, the fight was far from over. Friends, this story is not just about one girl, it's about all of us. It's about the fight for our future and the belief that, together, we can make a difference. So, if you believe in the power of change and want to continue to be part of this incredible journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let's keep fighting for the world we deserve. Thank you for listening.